Howdy, and welcome back to another video. Today we are working on the 1983 Honda Civic. Where I left off, which I don't think I put out any videos on it, is I've got to run a couple times. For a little while, and then stops. And then doesn't start again. For at least a day, then it might run again. So, here's where we're at. Figure I'll give you a quick rundown. I have ignition, at least when cold. I haven't tested it when everything's ran because just got to run yesterday. It's getting fuel. Spark plugs are clean. Compression, cylinder 1, 120. Cylinder 2, 155. Cylinder 3 was like 152. And I think cylinder 4 was like 158, whatever. 3 were great. One of them was, a little sketch, but the vehicle should be able to run. So what I'm in the middle of is finding out if it'll start now. I've tried a couple times, turn the key, turns over. But now that the choke is fully warmed up, it seems like it wants to start, so I'm just starting this whole process here. Gonna see if it runs, and then see if it dies, and win. So, hooray, you'll get to see it start, hopefully. Fire in the hole! Ignition, too far. See, what doesn't make sense with this whole thing, it won't start, okay, for me, it won't start until the choke is warm. This is something I just learned. Last night, after it's warmed up, running, it revved just great. Well, I mean, great enough. Something I was happy with. Now, it doesn't seem so happy with revving. Anyway, I'm going to keep trying to figure this out because I have no idea what direction I'm going to go. And then I will hopefully relay some solid information that's maybe useful. She has started randomly, idled randomly, hasn't started, just havoc galore. So I'm guessing the second carburetor is probably just shit. So, we've got a replacement of a little less shit value, I hope. One of the reasons why I decided to just go for it is, so if you can kind of see the idle screw there, this is as far as the adjustment, like everything I've seen, this little lever here gets closer to the adjustment screw. I had to remove the spring on this to get a full 1.5 turns after it made contact with that. So, I'm gonna guess maybe the flapper, whatever, just isn't right. When it was on the car, there were times where it felt like it was maybe a little tight as it leaks. Fucking bastard. So anyway, I'm going to guess maybe something was wrong with this. I don't know, but it is now another core / something for me to maybe rebuild later, understand more. I don't know. But when you have spark, when you have plugs that appear to be working right, when you're getting fuel delivery, and everything seems to randomly kind of go off of, too much fuel, too much air, to me it's like, okay, I can't think of anything else that it might be. Because hot or cold, I always got spark. That was something I thought might have been a problem. So anyway, we got a new carburetor coming. And yeah, it should be there about now. Poof, there we go. If you'll notice, some pretty blue wires also. While I know my ignition wires were new, down here, they were pretty close to the fan, shit like that. They would have never hit, but it bugged me. So, ordered some NGKs. They weren't too expensive on Rock Auto. And they click in very nice. All of the wires are already labeled, like cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, yada yada. So I like that. They appear to have a little more length, so if you see they're not, from earlier, they're not pressing against the valve cover. So I'm very pleased with that. Next up, carburetor's in. I don't know if it's going to be any better. I'm going to try and start it first without the vacuum advance hooked up. I figure I should be able to get the thing to run, you know, without vacuum advance to at least get started. I'm just trying to remove any anomalies. And yeah, over there, I still got to hook up the coil. So we will be back after I fiddle with things because I do not expect it to start right away. Be right back. The carburetor's back on. And between me working on the Civic before and Civic now, I've wasted a lot of time. Leak down test, I can't remember if I recorded the results, but seemed great. Like, at least the numbers, assuming that the tool is working correct, almost no loss. I don't know how accurate that is since it's an old ass engine. All I did was replace the valves, but I was giving up. Just about. I decided I'm going to take the carburetor off, take the plates off, you know, for the Weber stuff, and just make sure all seemed fine. You know, reseal it. You know, I was going to get some freeform gasket, whatever. Then I finally found what I think is my smoking gun, which is an idiot mechanic known as me. So the first plate that the carburetor bolts to, I started undoing the hex bolts. They didn't take a lot of force. Unfortunately, I forgot to record what the gaskets look like, but the gaskets look like shit was trying to escape out the sides. So it wasn't sealing up very well, it seemed. So I'm like, okay, I'm an idiot. Clean that plate off, brake clean, little green Scotch-Brite, you know, get all the crap off. Then I took the main plate that goes from that plate to the intake manifold. Same problem. The gasket looked like shit was trying to escape everywhere. So I promptly cleaned that too. Oh yeah, and those bolts were also a lot looser than they should have been. It's almost like I went through, hand tightened them before and didn't actually take a wrench to them. I don't even know if I tried very hard to turn them. So I'm an idiot. I don't know if it's fixing it yet, but this is the first time I have actually fiddled with it and felt like I saw a smoking gun. So in the next clip, we are going to try and start the car and hopefully start it. Here we go. Moment of truth. Negative on. Carb has no fuel, so I expect it to take a minute. But I also don't expect it to start. Let's find out. I don't know how this is running right now, but it is running. Maybe not great, and the carburetor doesn't let me up the idle much, but idling quiet. And it fucking idles down. Like, I don't get it. But let me fiddle around just a little more. See what I can do. She's running a little better. Ah, freaking flies. Problem is, the distributor is at full advance. I'm not sure if that should be that way. I'm going to keep an eye on temperature, see what's happening. But right now, smooth as butter. Seems to be running pretty happy too. This is the video of figuring words of where I screwed up. So, I've been turning the motor over by hand. I started looking more at the rotor here. And I realized every time I was at top dead center, it was over here. Top dead center, here. Here. Turns out I was about a tooth off. So I'm guessing that's one of the reasons why I didn't get expected behavior when I was retarding and advancing the distributor. So hooray! One more thing sorted. I hope. Okay, so what we have here, besides potentially my head cut off, is a fixed distributor being what appeared to be one tooth or one gear off on the retarded side. The valves readjusted. It seemed like all of them were probably just a little too tight. I looked it up and I was kind of using the filler gauges wrong. And by kinda, I was. Also, somewhere in here, I put the fuel pressure regulator back in to 2.5 PSI just because I'd fiddled with it before, and I think the fuel pump I have in here might be overpressuring it. So, here goes nothing, I think, after I hook this up. And then here goes nothing. There we go. Please. I don't know. Oh, it's my cold start. Probably wrong. Oh, that sounds a lot better so far. Higher idle, it's about almost 1100, and this is theoretically on the cold. So yeah, I think this will be the end of this video because I've recorded a lot. I'm going to call it there. Adjusting the valves, fixing the distributor location, more or less rechecking everything I thought I did right or just forgot to reevaluate. But I think she's good. I mean, I'm still going to have to tune things. I don't think things are completely right. But let's see how she sounds. Oh yes, that sounds so much better. Anyway, thank you for watching. The next one should actually be me fixing everything else theoretically wrong with it so that I can drive it. Have fun. Bye-bye.